National Treasure? Okay, and I like the second movie, but I like the first one better. And there's a scene in it where they come into this empty room, and they've gone down into the thing, and the dead people and all that, and they're in the room, and Ben, who's the main guy looking for the treasure, says to his dad and everybody else in the room, the treasure's not real. The treasure's not real. And the dad says, no, Ben, the treasure is real. It's just gone. It's been moved. Look in here. The treasure's not real. See, that's what the skeptic thinks. That's what the average person in Orlando says. They walk in here and they go, there's no treasure here. Well, you got to look for it. You got to know what you're looking for. You can be a treasure hunter, but you got to know what you're looking for. Treasure hunters have a map. You got a map. It's a book. We call it the what? Bible. Right, Reader's Digest. It's a map. It tells you how to find the treasure. What else do? They follow clues. And that's the whole thing about National Treasure. They keep seeing this mysterious this, and this mysterical. What is mysterious? Mysterious thing, and they've got all these signs they keep chasing, connecting the dots. Got to keep chasing. Got to be relentless. The guy that's the bad guy in National Treasure, he wants to kill Ben, and all he wants is the map. Chasing him down, going to all these great lengths to try to annihilate basically the other guy that's going to beat him to the treasure. You and I have to seize the treasure. But what is the treasure? Jesus tells us in the parable what the treasure is. And each one of us can discover the treasure if we'll understand these three ideas, these three principles. Everybody here, number one, let's read the story. The kingdom of heaven, it's like a treasure hidden in a field. That's what Jesus is saying. Telling a story. The treasure is hidden in a field. And there was a man who found the treasure, and then he hid it again. You ever do that when you were a kid? You had a toy that your brother or sister wanted, you hid it, didn't you? Don't lie, you know you did. He hid it, and then what happened? And it says, and then in his joy, he went and sold a few things. Is that what it said? He sold everything that he had so he could buy the field, not the treasure. He wants to buy the whole field that it's buried in. You know what's it say? Again, the kingdom of heaven. It's like a merchant who's looking for fine pearls. And when he found one of great value, what did he do? He went away and sold everything he had so he could buy it. This is that little scam they got going at SeaWorld. How many of you know what I'm talking about? When they promise you they're going to go down and find a pearl. Right? If you knew which one the big pearl was in, you'd dive in there yourself. You'd be at the glass one. If you knew where that pearl was, it's a field. Got a treasure buried in it. It's like an oyster that's got a pearl in it. But you got to know which one it is and do everything you can to get it. See, life is about discoveries. As we grow older, we discover things that we find out later in life aren't true. Like politicians tell the truth. See, when you're little, you believe that. When you get older, you realize that's not true. Okay? Sometimes pastors don't tell the truth. Sometimes parents don't tell the truth. But we find these things out. Sometimes we find things out the hard way. We have these things in our wall. Maybe you have them too. They got two little slots like this and a little hole at the bottom. And there's usually two. One on top of the other, and it's got a little white plastic thing over it. And when you plug stuff in it, it lights up. But when I was a child, I found a bobby pin. Nobody ever told me that doesn't go in there. And I'm thinking, 2 prongs, 2 holes. And I stuck that bobby pin into that outlet. And my hand smelled like fried chicken, burned chicken. And I remember the mark on my hand. Do you think anybody had to tell me that twice? No, because I discovered electricity. Life is about discoveries, and sometimes the old saying is every generation's got to learn for itself that the stove's hot. And that's life. You go through life and people try to help you. They try to guide you, parents, teachers, coaches, whatever. And sometimes you just got to find out for yourself. And life is that way. Life allows us to discover stuff. And so here we are out minding our own business, and Jesus interrupts us with a story. The kingdom of heaven is like. See, the Old Testament was all about man trying to figure it out, trying to create their own map on how to get to God. And so Jesus shows up and says, look, look, look. You got it all backwards. You're not interpreting the map right. So let me explain this to you. Let me see. You guys are all farmers. So, The kingdom is like a field. It's a big pile of dirt. Well, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying at all, because if it was just a big pile of dirt, then that wouldn't be worth going out and selling everything we have to buy a pile of dirt, correct? And in other parables, when Jesus uses the word field, what he means is the culture. Jesus at one point says, good seed, you plant it, it grows up, and then it says the thorns come in and choke out the good seed. And Jesus goes later and he describes and says that the thorns represent the cares of the world. So the culture is the field. The kingdom of heaven is like the culture, but there's a treasure hidden in it. Jesus and the kingdom are about people. Luke 17 says, my kingdom is not of this world. It's not of buildings. It's not of temples. He says, my kingdom is of the hearts of people. So Jesus is after people. And the culture is represented by the field. And then here, among the culture, think about this, among the culture, you can find the kingdom of God. I can see the kingdom of God in you. You can see it in me, hopefully. You can see it in other people. But in the culture, we're buried. Would you agree? You've got to go find somebody at your work that's a believer in Jesus. It's not likely just, it's everybody. Unless you hopefully work at a church. Hopefully that's most everybody. Okay? But you got to go find it. The kingdom of God. It's not the whole culture. It's just buried. It's just a part of the field. It's a part of the culture. I'm not sure buried is a really great word picture. But you can find the kingdom of God. Those of you that are getting ready to go to college, let me just give you some gray-haired advice. You can go to a Christian college, and you can learn Christian math and Christian spelling and Christian science, because Christian math is different. You can go to the University of Florida or Florida State or University of Miami and you can find Christian people there. But you'll have to look for them. And for some of us, the best thing we could ever do is go to a secular university and make your faith grow up. Seriously. Now, you can go to a Christian college and it's just easier to find Christian people. But they're not all Christian. True? Okay, so you can find Christian people at the mall, you can find them at Waterford, you can find them at church, you can find them at the school, wherever you are. You can find Christian people buried in the field, but you've got to look for them. When I used to do school assemblies, I can remember standing around talking to students, and the whole thing about school assemblies is you're not allowed to say the J word. Okay, you're not allowed to say Jesus. You can say the G word, but you can't say the J word. And because God is different to everybody. So God can be what you think, I think, whatever. And there would be a group of students standing around talking, and I would walk that line really, really close. I pushed it sometimes. And so I would stand and talk to students, and it just, I don't know how it happens, but you stand in a circle and you go, that one gets it, that one gets it, that one doesn't know what I'm talking about, that one doesn't. Because there's something about your spirit which says, I'm a Father with my spirit. You can find it, but you've got to go look for it. The kingdom is buried inside the culture. It's among the people. In God's understanding of kingdom and of treasure, it's the people that matter. The people are the treasure, not the field, not the ground, not the dirt, not the buildings, not the temples, not the colleges and universities. It's the people that matter. God's not after the stuff. He doesn't need it. What he wants is the people, and so he wants us to pursue the people. Life is also about choices. You can choose to do things. You can choose not to do things. You can choose to suffer the consequences of both. I don't know if you know this. You do not have to pay your taxes in the United States of America. You don't. If you don't do it, they're going to come find you, and you can go live somewhere else, like that's got a sliding door that locks at night, but you don't have to pay the taxes. But if you don't, there's a consequence. Okay? You don't have to take care of your body. You don't have to keep tabs on what you watch, listen to, do. You don't have to. But there's a consequence for the way we treat ourselves. And your life is the sum of all the choices you've made. Just like mine is the sum of all the choices I've made. It's not easy sometimes, the decisions we're forced to make. There's some of us in the room here today, we had to go back to school as an adult because we had to finish college. How many of you finished college like in your late 20s, 30s, or 40s? Raise your hand. I did. Look at all these people. Was that easy? No, that's backwards. You're supposed to do it before you have kids and a job and a career and a spouse. Okay, well, that's not how I did it. It's hard. And for those of you that God did that too. You